I'm going to go ahead and post the attendance survey as well.
So for those who don't know, as we're still filing in, GitHub is a website that hosts, you know, a lot of the world's best open source software. And so GitHub was actually purchased by Microsoft in, I think, 2018. And so this is big business. And they are slowly rolling out features to make GitHub more usable in the classroom. And so we're definitely going to look at that stuff today. So imagine using these sort of industry tools to solve some of your classroom process kind of issues, handing out assignments and collecting them using industry standard tools. So, doing your coursework is actually teaching the kids how to use the technology they'll be expected to use in industry. I don't have you on the. I don't hear you anymore, Terry.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, now I really hear you. There it is.
Good. Okay.
Cool. All right, perfect. Okay, so I guess we got a minute.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll just wait. This is clicking over.
And remind me, you don't mind answering questions as they come, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
So before Terry does the introduction, everybody, let's go make an account on GitHub. Do you need users to get into GitHub? You make your own account, and then as long as different repositories are not private, they're yours for the taking. That's what makes it so cool. So everybody go to github.com and sign in. Just create an account, sign in, so we can get going. And I'll hand it off to Terry. I think he does the introduction, that sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm. So I've been looking forward to reading this bio because I just think it's interesting. So let me begin. Exactly. Brandon Murry is a computer science and math teacher by way of Las Vegas, Nevada. In his spare time, he hacks around with open source tools while scheming how to accomplish the same feats for open education resources. Sure. Brandon wants to share his passion for all things open by teaching others how to provide more inclusive, innovative, and industry standard computer science curricula. So without further ado, the very interesting and talented Brandon Murry.
Okay. All of that was a lie, by the way. I just wanted it to sound good, okay? I'm kind of a jerk, so whatever. Anyways, let's get started here. Yeah, thanks, Leo. It is my birthday. It's the best birthday present ever to be sharing this stuff that I really enjoy and really love. So let's see. Let me get going here. I'm going to share my entire screen because, again, I'm going to be bumping back and forth between some different products or some different windows. And I'm going to kind of go through different phases, different sections of this presentation. So I'll probably start with kind of a background of what's going on. And, I like to talk about the hidden curriculum here. We're going to talk about Git, which is a version control software. What that means is it tracks changes over a source code repository. And so, once you've put your source code under version control, it's going to see and keep track of every time you change something, every time at least you commit those changes to the Git repo. And so then you can do special things with that. You can roll back your project to a previous version. You can branch it off to go work on some feature without affecting sort of your main master branch. Okay. So let's just talk here. this is important, or this has become important because of what we call open source software. And so I'm proudly running a version of Linux to do this demonstration. Pretty much everything on here, every application that I have on this, well, I guess not. I have a bunch of animation stuff that's proprietary, but most of the stuff that's going to come on a Linux machine is going to be stuff that you can go get the source code for and hack on it yourself. Okay, so by making source code available to whoever, you also invite whoever wants to come and help build or modify that software for fun or for whatever. So quite a bit of open source software has been created from volunteers just wanting to improve software. So I'll show you a quick little article here. I just went to Google, open source first article. What is this? Tech Republic, 1 day ago. Okay. At Google, they have summer interns every year. They got 1,000 interns who are all working on open source projects from home. Okay. So, it used to be that open source, stuff that's kind of the Linux world, it's definitely grown out from there, but that open source was just kind of for hobbyists. But nowadays it's big business. Like I said, GitHub is owned by Microsoft. Google, when they're having their interns come work, what do they ask them to do? They're asking them to go work on open source projects. And so in some real respects, familiarity with the open source process, with some of the open source tools, the biggest one is Git and GitHub, is really vitally important for students who are trying to get into the software development industry. And there's also an added side effect, an added bonus is, for students who are kind of ready to start exploring how to build software, when you have access to Git and GitHub and you kind of know how it works, you can go and see how other people have done it. Okay, and so it really provides an opportunity for students to explore and learn things beyond what we're doing in the classroom. And I will show how we can actually get it going within our classroom. And I think that becomes then kind of a platform for students to launch off of and to go and get those jobs at Google or Facebook or wherever, because it's everywhere. Okay, all right. So that's kind of some of the background. Yeah, GitHub. One of the ideas behind Git. Okay, and I guess I'll bounce into this guy real quick. Okay. So if you came to my command line hacking, then you would have seen this sort of thing. But this is your command line running. Again, this is a Linux command line. Git itself is a command line package, and so I'm going to demonstrate how Git mostly works, at least a little bit from the command line. Later on, we're going to see that we're going to see how to use other applications to handle these Git operations. But kind of like in Plato's Republic, the allegory of the cave. Sometimes you go down into this deep, dank cave to really get a sense of how things work before you can come back up to the light, okay, and interact in the real world. And so I'll bring you down to this dank cave down here to show you how Git works, kind of in the guts of it, so that when we go to some of our text editors like a VS Code, we can see those same operations taking place in the software and have kind of a better context for it. Okay, so to get started on Git and GitHub, learn Git and GitHub without any code. Okay. One great thing about open source software is the fact that basically the open source community built the internet. And so if you want to learn about it, if you want to learn about open source and all that, then it's all on the internet. Okay. So GitHub really does have quite a bit on, how to get this stuff going. So just pay attention when you're on the site. There's other sites GitHub Learning Lab. I'll get you guys introduced to that so that we can kind of see how it works. But the basic idea is going to be this, okay? Our Git program, okay, this Git program will put a little folder hidden inside of our software folder. And then I'll perform Git commands within my software folder, and it will update this little hidden Git database, okay? So let's see. I'll come in here. All right. So like they said, once you have an account, you can go ahead if you want. You can create a new repository. And the idea of the repository, again, is this will be the folder that holds all of your code, okay? So I have a couple repositories. I'm gonna show you kind of this process on one of my personal repositories, so we can just go through kind of how the workflow works. But I have this as a private repository. That's not very open of me, but again, it's kind of like my stuff. So if I'm on GitHub and I want to get someone else's code or get my code, I'll go find the repository. Repository pages look like this. Let's go find a couple other cool repository pages. I guess we'll do this one. GitHub. Let's just get Git. Why not get Git? Okay. So here is the source code for Git itself. Okay. Git source code mirror. Okay, it's a publish only repository. That means later, because that has to do with these. Okay. But you can see I can come in here and I can take a look at all the source code. Okay, looks fun. All right, I could click on the files. I could actually see what's in them. Okay, but to get this code onto my computer, well, is relatively easy. We can see right here, there's a button that says clone or download. Okay, use Git or check out with SVN. So what I do is I copy this. Okay. And if I'm working in a command line environment, let's see, let's make sure it's not right here. Yeah. If I'm working in a command line environment, I do this. I say Git. Remember, in a command line environment, the first word you type is the name of a program. So Git is the name of my program. Then I give options or different parameters to the program. In the case of Git, the very first one you might do is the clone command. Okay. So let's read that out. The Git program will clone, and then it needs a URL. Okay. All right. I hit enter, and this might take a minute, but it is so much fun to watch. Okay. So again, all of these objects, what it says objects, these are sort of like, the database of changes that have taken place on this software repository. And not just any of the changes, it's literally all of the changes, okay? 137 megabytes of text files. So when you download a Git repository, you download not just the current state, but the entire history of a project. And Git does some fancy kind of cryptography stuff. To condense things. It keeps track of differences in files, and that's the tracking that it does. What difference happened between these, what we call Git commits, and those differences are what are tracked, and it does some compression on that. Git can need to be installed on the command prompt, and we can show you how to do that. Windows does have a nice does have a way to download for Windows. It's not too bad. And when you download it for Windows, you will get a command line window. It will make you have this. Okay. We're not going to do everything in this. Okay. Because at least for our classes, because this presentation is supposed to help you. Hey, how can I get this going in my class? You're probably going to want to use some sort of text editor or IDE that has Git integration. And so I'm going to demonstrate VS Code for you guys.
There's a question from Elizabeth on
all right, so look,
installation of Git.
Yeah.
This needs to be installed at the command prompt.
I was trying to address that.
Okay.
No, it does not, but I mean, you can. If you had attended my thing earlier, it would have been that. That would give it to me. But no, you don't have to do that. Git can be downloaded for Windows normally. It can be downloaded. It can be downloaded for Mac. And okay, right. So I think I addressed that. You don't have to download it from the command line. You can download it from a normal installer. Any real big time open source package is probably going to have a regular installer for all major operating systems. And Git's definitely a big guy. Okay. So anyways, I got the Git repository, and I'm just going to kind of come and look at this for you guys real quick. So right there, it's a folder. I can change directories into the Git folder. I'm in the Git folder, and I can look around, and there's going to be a bunch of stuff. Okay. So I could do something like this. I could say Git. I could say Git log. This will be something huge. Okay. So Git will, again, it keeps track of all the different changes that have taken place, and you can see different. You can kind of like see through a log in here, and this is going to be like stupidly long. So we'll get out of that. All right. So what we do is we clone a repository, and then we get to work. Okay. So I'm going to go into my Git folder right here. Okay. Oftentimes you're going to see a Readme file. You'll see that kind of all over the place in a lot of these different ones. Let's see. No, where was it? So there's certain things that are pretty common in here. An install file, a copying file, maybe a license file. Let's see. Do we have the license? It's probably down here. Yeah, here's the README. Okay. So this is usually our README file shows up here. And the README file will typically include what sort of open source license it has. And so you can, if you're trying to create software that's open source, you have to use a very specific sort of license. Different licenses have different rules. The GNU GPL, the GPL license, is popular. It basically says, hey, you can copy this, you can change it, you can do whatever you want to it. But if you change it and give away the changes, you gotta give me, the copyright holder, those changes as well. And so that enforces community collaboration. Other open source licenses says, man, you can do whatever you want with it, but I still own it. Okay. All right, so let me just go through the quick Git workflow. I'll show you guys like a quick image for understanding how this works. Real quick, we can see there's a hidden folder here in my Git repo. And what I'm looking at right now is this. This is on GitHub. Okay. So inside of this .git folder is the Git database. Okay. There's a lot there. Don't worry about it. You don't have to care too much. Okay. But if I were to go in and let's see, if I were to go in and change any of my files, what should I go to? I'll go to my C folder. Okay. Here's a bunch of C programs that I've kind of written. Let's take a look. Uh-oh, I hope it doesn't say something terrible. Yeah, okay, that's good. So I get my Git repo. I can go ahead and I can start using my software. I could compile it. I could create the software. Bang, okay? So I took someone's code, I brought it to my computer and started using it right away. Compiled it, started using it, okay? All right, if I go in and I make a change to a document, let's watch what happens, okay? So let's change this to, say, Summit, okay? Now I'm going to use the status command of Git, and it's going to tell me that something has been modified, okay? So it's actually kind of telling me what to do. And so here's kind of how Git's going to work. It's keeping track to see if things have changed. Okay. If it's unmodified, then it's just kind of sitting there. As soon as I edit the file, it goes into the modified category. Okay. And I have to then specifically tell Git to add that modification to what's called the staging area. Basically, it's a series of documents that have had changes that I want to then save those changes and make them permanent within Git's database. Okay. So I would do something like this. I would say git add hello.c. You will notice that my hello program did not get added to the status. And there's a reason for that. I've told Git to ignore executables like this. So it only noticed that this file was modified. So what I say is I'm going to add this git add to my staging area. Okay. So the staging area is the changes that we want to commit to our repository. Okay. And so to commit, we have to do something like this. We say git commit. Okay. And there's some fancy business here. Sometimes we have to include options like a message option. Okay. All of your commits, basically any change to the Git repository needs an explanation. Okay. So that's this message. And you'll see those explanations right here in the Git repo. If we come here, these are the messages that are included within a commit. Okay. And so once I do this commit, it has now changed my repository. Now, where has it changed that repository? Yeah, Jill, I'm going to talk about how to use this in the classroom. I'm just showing the basics of how this kind of works, and then we're going to start talking classroom literally after basically the next thing I do, okay? So this is just introduction to Git itself before we say, how do I do this in the classroom, okay? All right, so basically what I've just done here is I have made a change to my local repository. One of the special things about Git is that anyone can download this repository to make changes to it, to track those changes. But any changes that have been tracked or committed locally have not changed like globally. They haven't changed for other people. They haven't changed to GitHub. And so this is the idea behind the what's called the push operation. Okay. So so my Git repository, what is it? What is it? Why am I? Git, let's see, no, okay. Well, I'm screwing it up. Basically, my repository knows that, my local repository knows that this came from GitHub. And so if I want, I can tell GitHub about my changes with what's called the push command. And we're gonna see these commands. Okay, so there we go. So I pushed my changes from my local repository to the changes to the GitHub repository. Okay, so we can come in and we can look at that. Now on GitHub, when I go to that particular program, I'm going to see that the change has been accepted. Okay. All right, so that's the history. That's some of the history of open source. This is some of the nitty-gritty details of the Git command line and kind of, you know, what that process looks like. So again, just so we know, Git tracks changes. Any changes I make in folders that are controlled by Git, it's going to notice when I make a change, and I tell Git to add those changes to this sort of waiting area. Once I've added all the changes I want, so I've basically updated the version of my software or something like that, then I commit those changes to the repository. so that they are baked in. Okay, and then that becomes the new version of the whole repository. And if I'm working locally like this, I can then push those changes out to the remote, sort of the central version of this repository. Okay. All right, so let's just see how are we doing. Now we're gonna do the important stuff. So what do we let's get any questions that are out there. It looks like people are kind of talking.
Other than the one about utilizing this in the classroom.
All right. Okay, so you want to utilize this in the classroom? GitHub has some features to make that nice. So we should have made a GitHub account. Is that correct? Does everybody have a GitHub account at this point? Okay. So what we first need to do is we need to create our own organization. Okay. So follow along with me, guys. Up in the right hand corner, I have I'm signed in. I can see my profile. Okay. But clicking on this right hand drop down will also, I can see profile, repository. I can also see organizations. Okay. So we're going to click that. Again, to do this, here, I'll put it in the chat window. Organizations. Let's see. All right. So that is the link right there. Okay. So we're going to create an organization. I had created one for my high school, McIntosh High School. So I would create new organization. Basics of GitHub, team, enterprise. And so this is actually a really great example of the open source business model. Okay. So if people are sitting there releasing all their source code and letting anybody use it and compile it and actually use the software, how do you make any money? Okay. And yes, Joe, we are gonna go to that as well. Okay, campus program. Okay. Okay. All right. So yeah, Joe, I'm going to show GitHub Classroom, but this is. Let's see, Joe. Can you explain? Can you explain for me GitHub Education? The education version. Do you get extra features that you don't have through this sort of thing? Is there basically like a school feature right here?
Joe, if you want to share your audio so that you can answer it quicker than typing it, let me know and I'll let you on.
So I've always just used the free thing.
Okay, he's coming on.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. I'm not dressed.
All right. Hey, Joe, looking good.
So the education version, if your school installs this or your school district installs it, it complies a little bit more with the privacy regulations that the out doesn't have access to your repositories unless you explicitly give that permission. It also allows you to kind of give accounts to students in your school more broadly. So if you want to regulate it as a school district or a school, that's something to look into. The classroom might be more appropriate for the teacher doing it kind of one-off.
Right. Okay. So I think that's a really good explanation, especially when you're starting to play around with open source. Sometimes your IT departments get kind of fussy, and especially in regards to privacy matters. Something like here, GitHub Education would be a great way to create an organization. Okay, so I was telling you guys, create a free organization. Again, this is just standard GitHub. Okay. All right. So you can do that, but quite frankly, maybe I think Joe's probably that's probably a cooler way to do it, is to go ahead and get the education done. But All right. There's some issues with write privileges. Okay. All right. So, anyways, let's go ahead and see GitHub Classroom, because that's the part of GitHub that is going to be helpful for doing this in the classroom. Okay. So I need to go and find, here it is. Okay. So this right here, Classroom. I'm going to throw that into the chat. Nice. HTTPS classroom.github.com. Okay, so that is the link to GitHub Classroom. So just the basic idea behind GitHub Classroom is that it's going to let you create these GitHub repos, kind of like what we were seeing here, to make a copy of a repo and give it to each student. The student then is going to kind of do their assignments, and they'll make their Git commits, and that will get passed back up to you to grade. So what's cool about that is if you're going to work kind of on a larger project, you can go ahead and create sort of like, if you have boilerplate code that you're going to use, or if you're doing web development, you can kind of get them started with a couple HTML or JavaScript documents, and then have the students go and add on top of that using Git and GitHub. All right, so you would come here, GitHub Classroom, get started. I would say, okay, I'm going to make a classroom. Okay, classroom name. Call it. Okay, so I would maybe do something like that. Invite TAs and admins to your GitHub organization. Okay, so before, notice that it asks which organization do I want to make the classroom under. So that's why you would have to make the organization first. And so part of this is you have to go ahead and, for your students as part of your organization, you would have to invite them. Okay. So once they're invited to your organization, then you would ask them to join your classroom. Okay. So your students, it sounds like GitHub Education would actually help streamline this process a little more. Do you make the organization your non-GitHub classroom? The organization is on your GitHub account, and so here I am, organizations. I can create a new organization. It's just that if you want to go this route, this would be good just for the single teacher in a classroom. But like Joe was saying, there's definitely some concerns about privacy and about just sort of different aspects to it. So you could create your organization through GitHub, through GitHub Education. But if we're going to set up a classroom, we just have to have an organization, whether it be a free one or an education one. Okay. All right. So where's my classroom? Where's my classroom? Where's my classroom? I lost my. Oh, here it is. Okay. All right. So again, this process, we're here. GitHub Classroom, classroom.github.com. Sign in, get started. I have an organization. So the classroom has to be attached to an organization. Okay. I give it a name. My students need to be part of my organization, and then I would give them this link. And this is something you would post on your Blackboard or whatever. And then from here, you can, ooh, look at this. Oh, yeah. Connecting GitHub Classroom to your institution's learning management system will unlock new capabilities, such as automatic roster importing. I do not know how all of this works because this is new. Okay, GitHub Classroom is rolling out extra features. So if we say connect our learning management institution to my roster, someone could tell me whether this will sync your classes or the roster for your entire school. So I have skipped this step. I'm going to skip this step right now because I don't want to mess with it. Okay. All right, so we can still import our students, or we can give their emails here to create our roster. Let's see. I'll make this roster. Okay. I'll just put someone in there. Okay, so once you have your classroom and your roster, once they're kind of all in, then you could go create an assignment. Assignment title, website, project, deadline, okay, whenever. There's an individual assignment, group assignment, and then repository visibility. And so I've always made my stuff private because I don't want to mess with privacy issues. Yeah, Brian, students are going to be able to download the repository whenever, wherever, on any device. If you make it private, in order to do the clone of the repository, they'll have to put in their GitHub. Information. Grant students admin access to their repository. So this is going to be kind of an important idea. Is that in GitHub Classroom, when we make an assignment, at least if it's individualized, each student is going to have their own repository. And so, I might give them admin access on their repository, on their assignment repository, just so they got full access and they can explore Git. Okay. Yeah, Brian. So we'll take a look here. Okay. All right. So here's the tricky part. Add a repository to give students starter code. So man, I can give them Git. Let's see. So it would be useful now for you to have your own repository. Let's see. It's git/git. So here is where you could put in. I could put in Murry McIntosh /. And so if I've created some starter code, I would go find my starter code repository that I've already made, and then make that their template. Okay. So sort of scaffold this.
Question from Jill.
All right. So yeah. Okay. So the classroom is a little different than folders. Okay. The repository is the software folder. When we are going to go and create an assignment, it's the assignment that is going to become the repo. Okay. So one thing about Git versus GitHub is Git is the guts of this thing. This is just the plain, how do I control the versions of my software? GitHub has all this, extra stuff on top of it to kind of make it easier to use. And so the organization, that has nothing to do with Git itself. That has to do with GitHub. The classroom, that is GitHub. And so what's now happening is when we create an assignment, that's when we're going to get Git itself involved, get a repo. So GitHub is just going to do this it's going to do this copying, this cloning operation for us where, oh, look at that. Who was that said, who was talking about REPL? Let's see. I thought someone. Was it Randy? Yeah. Okay. So Randy seems comfortable with this. So you could go and use online IDEs. I am going to show how to get into Visual Studio Code, which is Microsoft's IDE like text editor. Right. So Jill, the sort of the logical structures, organization, school. Within each school, we're going to see different classrooms, and so this is where you would do your. This is where you would do. This is where it would be organized. Look at that. My CSA classes, my CS principles classes. Okay. And then within each of these classes, each of your preps, you're going to have your list of assignments, and it can be kind of nice because we'll see. All right, so whatever. You don't have these set of student repositories with online. Okay.
And about
Star code
HTML
is not a template.
HTML, CSS, JavaScript.
Okay, is this where I'm at? So does it have a repository? You are controlling what repository you give them. So if you are teaching a web course, and this is, Git's actually really useful for web, HTML, CSS, you would go and create your own repository within account, and then importing from a template for optimal import speeds. But it doesn't need to be a template. Yeah, so I don't have my repository. The one I clicked is not a template repository. But yeah, you would create it beforehand, and then this assignment thing is just going to copy it for all the students. Okay, add auto grading test. Okay. So this is like input output testing. There's different sorts of things. On command, if it was like if you were going to make it have a specific, if you're going to say Python project 1.py, right? And then what the expected output should be. This is so you can do, kind of auto grading and that sort of thing. Okay, so I'm not going to mess with that. Enable feedback pull request. All right. Okay, so this would be if we didn't give them admin rights. We can say that. Okay, assignment's ready. Enable it. Okay, so once this student had gotten it, I'm sorry, individual assignment. Enable assignment invitation. Okay. Okay, here we go. They would be able to grab their assignment from this URL and then do the copying sort of thing. So I'm not going to go through that process since I'd have to log into different things. But from here, they would be able to grab their assignment. They would get to the assignment repo, and it would be their assignment, and then they would then copy it. Okay. Okay, so from here, let's see. Let's just go see if we could actually see this in action. Let's go grab somebody else's stuff. Here we go. I wanted to look at I just wanted to see the grade book. All right, let's see. Okay. So eventually, guys, GitHub Classroom is going to be integrated with your LMS and be able to push the grades back. And it's not there yet, but I know that feature is coming. When that feature gets there, then this really is gold for that CS principles class or APA. If you're comfortable in this environment, you're going to be able to give them their code this way. You can grade it in browser, and then those grades will transfer over to your LMS. That's going to be a sweet, sweet deal.
Wow.
Okay. Okay, so all right, so this is not exactly what I was looking for. Anyways. All right, so how's our time?
a little less
It's
than
okay.
35 minutes.
It was hard about using GitHub Classroom.
Did you answer the last
Yeah.
question from Jill about?
So the last thing I wanted to do. Begin with a repo template, or can they share a repo they create in their own GitHub accounts with me? Yeah, you can do it that way, Jill. If you are having them share a GitHub repo with you that they created, then you are operating outside of the GitHub Classroom environment. And so I wanted to show this so you could kind of see how that worked. Assignment submissions. Yeah, so there's nothing I can show you right here. Does anybody have a GitHub? Can anybody jump on who has a GitHub Classroom set up that has assignments done? It looked like a couple of y'all knew about this. So is there anybody who could kind of share on their screen what it is, what it looks like when you have all the students there and you can see the assignments? Because I unfortunately don't have that right now.
If you request to share your video and audio, I'll let you in.
I can keep looking. Okay. Okay, so you can kind of see the. Yeah, guys, I just moved to Georgia. And so I did not get to teach this computer science last year. We used GitHub in my online club. And I don't have access to my old GitHub account with my old school email address. Okay. Let's see if we can just simplify that. Come in here. I taught in Las Vegas, Nevada at Bonanza High School. Bonanza High School. Title I school. It was a lot of fun. Bonanza has some really great alumni. The lead singer of Imagine Dragons went to Bonanza High School in Las Vegas. That's right. What's her name? Jenna Jameson.
Whoa.
Proud alumni of Bonanza High School in Las Vegas.
Whoa. There was a question from
Vegas is a weird place.
From Margaret as well about do you have to make an organization if you're using Git for your own project?
No, no. I don't believe you do. Maybe I'm wrong. I haven't done the setup in so long, but I do not believe that you do have to make your own organization. Because again, Git has no conception of organizations. That's something that's put on top. And so GitHub has definitely been building itself up for years and years in terms of different features. And we can talk about some different things. So Leo's in Wisconsin. I've heard of Gist. I don't use it. Okay, GitHub Gist. Oh, yeah. I know what this is. GitHub Gist is a really nice way to just share code snippets or just short scripts. So when you don't need to share the entire repository because, the students are just going to work on a single file. It's going to be a quick, short thing. GitHub Gist is a good way to get that shared really nicely. All right. Well, let's see. So let me just real quick. Does anybody use VS Code? Is there anybody that uses VS Code? I'll just go in and show how VS Code works with GitHub so that we can see kind of that stuff. And then it would probably be really nice for us to just kind of talk at the end to say, like, are you using GitHub? Hey, Brian, VS Code is not Visual Studio. VS Code is Microsoft's new, sexy. I think the source code is available. I'm not sure if it's technically open source. I don't know about its license. Anybody know about the VS Code license? MIT license. Yeah, so VS Code took the Visual Studio VS, but it just made a text editor. Okay, and so the difference between, you can write anything in it, Leo. The difference between a text editor and an IDE is that an IDE is typically going to be about like maybe one language or a group of languages, like in the case of Visual Studio, which is sort of like all about kind of the .NET and the Visual C++, Visual Basic. And a text editor is supposed to be more general purpose. It's just editing text, like someone said. It's just a glorified notepad. But Visual Studio Code, VS Code, is definitely somewhere in between an IDE and a text editor. What makes Visual Studio VS Code so cool are these extensions, okay? Who said Visual Basic, okay? All right, Visual Studio IntelliCode. So this is, this looks like it supports, maybe not. Okay. For Python, JavaScript. Okay, so I guess it doesn't have an extension for that. It has extensions for Python, for C, C++, HTML. Oh, you guys know about Emmet? Yeah, Emmet. Okay, I don't know what the regular Emmet is, but there's basically extensions for every language that you could want under the sun. And for Mr. Kick, if he's still around, give me that Vim emulator, baby. Okay? Vim's in my fingers. Let's see. And there's an Emacs emulation. Okay. Okay. No one likes to edit text on Emacs. That hurts your pinkies. All right. But if you want to run Visual Studio Code, again, Visual Studio Code, this is like industry standard stuff, okay? So let me come over here. Stack Overflow 2019. What is your most popular development environment? Okay? Visual Studio Code is ruling it these days, okay? We also have people using Visual Studio. We have people using Notepad++. Okay. What is the best GitHub extension for VS Code? Randy, the best GitHub extension for VS Code is, I don't know what the best one is, but the reason I'm showing you VS Code is because who runs them both? You don't even need an extension for GitHub. Microsoft owns GitHub. Microsoft runs VS Code. Okay, so VS Code is actually built into VS Code ships with GitHub extension already in. Okay, and Emacs, let's be clear, okay, Emacs is really mostly useful for the org support, okay, as everyone knows. Okay, let's go to, where is it? Linux, okay, okay, shell. Okay, org mode is definitely why you should learn Emacs, okay? Otherwise, there's no point. That's not true. There's definitely a point, but I just like Vim better because it's in my fingers. All right, so back VS Code. Because Microsoft owns GitHub, because they've created VS Code, it really does have nice Git integration. And so let's come out of the cave of this. Okay, we've made our GitHub account. Here's how it works. On the side, in VS Code, you have to open a folder. Okay, it's got to be able to see some files. You give it a folder. Okay, one of these buttons is the source control button. Okay, so this sort of source control thing, I mean, it's so important that it's baked into your source writing software. Yeah. at this point, everything should have good, anything worth its salt should have good GitHub integration. The amount of people that use GitHub, that use Git and GitHub is, it's insane, right? Vim has good GitHub Git integration, okay? But anything worth its salt is going to know how to interface with Git. And I'm just showing you this one because, you know, I don't know. I assume people trust Microsoft somehow. Okay. Provide repository URL. So I'm going to go and add wherever mine is, so we can see it. My repositories. So I would come in here. I would get my repository. I would get the URL for it. And I would tell it to clone. I think it might yell at me. We'll see. This is a private repo. I think it's going to make me sign in. Oh, okay. Select repository location. Okay, so you just actually want me to go find it there. Okay, now it's probably going to make me sign in. Would you like to open the cloned repository? Yes. Okay, so I'm in. So this is my repository. Let's go take a look. Programming C. Where's my hello? All right, and this, hopefully people go, oh, that feels good. Oh, look what it just said. I opened the C file. It goes, hey, do you want to install the C extension? You bet your buns I do. Okay. So I'm going to come back here so we can take a look. Okay, so now when I go to my files viewer, this is VS Code. VS Code has a files viewer. Yeah.
There's a question about the difference between pull, fork, and clone.
Pull, fork, and clone. All right. Clone is how you. It's technically two things. I think I could get this wrong. You you pull and fetch, I think is what it is. Git has a lot of low-level commands, what they call the plumbing, and I'm really only familiar with the porcelain, okay, the stuff that makes Git easy. And so a clone is, you know, getting the repo, putting it on your computer. A pull is how you're going to update your repo, okay? So if I was in here, where is it? Git. Yeah, if I was here, I would say git pull, and this would give me any updates, okay? But I can't pull something that hasn't been established on my computer. And then the fork is actually the branch command. And that's the idea that you can you know, fork off and start working on your own piece, and then later you do like a pull request and you can merge it back in, okay? But anyways, let me just make sure that we see the GitHub integration real quick so that we can have a nice chat afterwards. Okay, so I have my folder, my repo is open. I can go in my text editor. I can go change. I can go change a file. Oh, I'm in Git mode, or I'm in Vim mode. So change word. Goodbye. Escape. :W. Okay. So I saved it, and look what happened over here. Oh, there's a little one there. I changed a file in my repo. Over here in VS Code, it has alerted me that there are modified files, and so I can come back into my folder, and it will tell me. Let's see. Use GitHub. What do we commit? Oh, I put a new folder in here. Okay, so I did the clone operation wrong. Whatever. It says, hey, there's something that needs to be changed. This thing changed. Okay. So before, what we would do is we do the add command. You see that plus button? Okay. Where's the right? This is the general process: git add, git commit, git push. Well, in VS Code, it tells me something needs to get added. What do I hit? I hit the plus. That has staged the changes. Up here is my button for commit. I need to give it a message. changed hello to goodbye. When I hit this, I do a git commit. But that change isn't going to take place within my repository because that commit always takes place locally before it will change anything outside of that. Okay. So if I want to change everything globally, then I have to do my git push, which is this button, I believe. Let's see. Don't get this wrong, Brandon. Okay. Did I get it wrong? Yeah, I did. Okay. Push. Now it might. Is it going to yell at me? Would you like code to periodically run git fetch? Ask me later. Okay. So see, it didn't make me log in. Maybe I already did that. Let's do it. Goodbye. Okay. So there you go. So VS Code, it allows you to clone your repositories. It allows you to do those low-level Git commands, but it gives you buttons. Okay, so you know what you're supposed to do instead of having to remember git add, git commit, git push. And this lowers the bar for a lot of students. Okay, because I don't know of any teachers who want to dig in dirty with students like this. This is gross stuff. Okay, whereas this is industry standard. Okay, everybody's using it, even though plenty of people use Vim too. Everybody's using it, and it's built to integrate with GitHub, and GitHub is now getting closer and closer to being able to integrate into your classrooms really, really effectively. Not just to pass out assignments, to collect them, to grade them, but also to push those grades back to your learning management system to become really an integrated part of your classroom process. And at the same time, as being part of your classroom process, you're able to teach them these industry tools, which is so cool. What is the easiest way to help students when things get out of sync? So, you're trying to do stuff like this, pull. If things get really out of sync, I think you can do a rebase. There can be some big problems if you guys are all working on the same repository. Everyone has write privileges, where if somebody changes the same file as you, you'll get what's called a merge conflict, and that can be a real pain. And so GitHub Classroom, it gets over the pain of merge conflicts for these assignments, creating individual repositories for each student. Okay, so your template repository just gets copied to each student. They have their own, and so that could be a pain if you were a weirdo like me who wanted to see their Git repositories here. Okay, you would literally have to go in and say git clone on all of theirs, put them in a folder. Okay, so you could run your script or whatever. And so GitHub is trying to help that out. They have ways to run test conditions. Hey, here's the output I want to see. Okay, when I want to grade this assignment, just check that. Run this command. Make sure this is the output. Okay. And then eventually this will be really nice because it's going to sync up with your learning management system real nicely, pass back grades and all that. All right, so let's do questions or let's talk strategies. Okay, so this is some of the stuff I've kind of done in the past. Like I said, though, things are evolving. Okay, and so there's definitely different workflows to this. But I think that Git and GitHub itself are definitely worth investigating in the classroom, especially because once they're familiar with Git, once you're in the open source space, then you got access to it all. Okay, it's there, and the students will kind of know about it, and they'll understand how software is being developed, and it's stuff that they're going to need when they get to college. They're going to be messing around with this stuff in college and in the work world. So my theory is let's get them on it, as early as we can, because ultimately it's not that tough. If you have an IDE that can handle some of those low-level stuff for you, and GitHub itself supports your classroom, then that lowers the barrier for us.
Question about plagiarism.
Yeah, Leo, that's a big issue. I didn't run into a ton of that, but there's always the diff command. That's a terrible answer. I don't believe that GitHub has anything about, someone can correct me, but I don't believe that GitHub currently has sort of like plagiarism detectors. So the easiest thing would be to just, like if it could run a diff to check differences, make sure there's differences and everything. But right. And so what Laura's saying there is that's kind of a nice deal. That's another reason. Okay, there you go. And that's Laura, that's what I've used in my math classes always. It's like, okay, how'd you get this answer? And when they can't say it, rip it up. Yeah, so look, the assignment will look like it'll look like a repo. I mean, it will be a repo. And it will just have some junk right here for them. And they'll go through and they'll do this process. And what makes Git cool is, again, the version control. If they are sitting there updating their project, you can track the changes as they go. And this allows you to make sure they're on the right track. Hey, do I need to step in and help? And you got access to this from wherever you have internet. Why did I use this for loop structure? Yeah, good. All right, I do not believe the assignments are public. And this is where Joe kind of helped out talking about cool. I like that, Deborah. Yeah. So let's just keep having the conversations. Anybody want to jump on audio? I'm not an expert at this stuff. This is just my love, and I want to share it and see if we can, start talking about how we can. I mean, shoot, guys, we can share assignments. We can create assignments on GitHub. Hey, you got a good assignment? Yeah, send me the GitHub repo. I'm gonna clone it over. Hey, I'm going to edit it for myself. All right, now I'm going to share it with, and I'm going to give that assignment to my students.
Yeah, if there's anyone who wants to ask a question using your audio and video, please submit a request. It's a lot easier than typing sometimes.
Shoot, guys. Hey, come on. Let's just do it. All right. I don't care. I'm doing it. Let's give me your emails. Create an organization. Okay.
I think folks are grabbing their glasses of wine right now.
Organization name: Georgia Computer Science Teachers. Contact email: foster.terry@const. I don't know what your email is, Terry. Okay.
Terry.foster@gitech.edu.
Yeah. Okay. This organization belongs to. Yeah. Look, I mean, we could create our own GitHub organization. I'll show it what it would look like. Add organization members. Who we got? We got Ruth Page. Okay. All right. Scroll up. Oh, Jesus Christ! I gotta get this on the. I gotta come over here. All right. Hey, if you have a GitHub account, this will work. Cha-ching. If you don't have a GitHub account, this will not work. It won't show up. So it needs to be something that has a GitHub account. Yeah, look at us. This is boom. Okay, collaboration. Let's get it done. Let's share some repos. Let's share some projects, some assignments. There it is. There she is. Boom. Invite by email. Let's see. Did I get Eric in there? Eric, yes. Sorry, I got you first. Eric, thank you for attending. All right, Terry, you're in it too, man. Computer Science Teachers Association of people who like doing nerdy stuff. I think that's what we're called. I forget. Somebody come up with a name. I just put in a random one. All right. Oh, Randy with the picture. So some stuff I'm going to work on this next year. We're going to do Raspberry Pi robots in my club. So we'll see. I'll try to get some of these. I'll try to make a repo on there. And seriously, if we just add this repo, if you just say accept, it'll be part of there, and it's frankly like something we can do together by just doing it. Anybody else? Let me scroll down. Who did I miss? Who did I miss? Amber, did I miss you? No, I got you.
What a way to close out a session, man. This is awesome.
All right. Yeah, this is awesome. I don't even know. All right. Wait, how can I tell which email address? You should be able to kind of like click up at the top, maybe. I don't know. You would yeah, you go to your profile. Your profile, and then there should be something. Something about my. Okay, maybe it's settings. What if people? Hey, Jeremy. I appreciate that. Yeah. All right. What, you don't like this? Hey, Red Hat, baby. I just want to show you that. That's literally all this is about. I'm just like, remember, Linux. This is the way. Okay. I don't know why I can't find an email address. Whatever. Okay. Who am I missing? There we go.
There's a question about the ease of GitHub versus source safe.
Okay, so let me be really clear, guys. I have picked certain technologies. I don't know everything. I do know that GitHub is everywhere. That's just all. That's what I know. So that's why I picked. I don't know any other source code stuff. Okay, so here we go. Boom, we're getting some more. So there could be better choices for the classroom, for sharing code, for doing the version control, for tracking things. But I think it fits the bill. And because it's so universal, because it has so many integrations, I think that it's a decent choice. Look at this! Woo! We're gonna do it, y'all! You can use VS Code with GitHub Classroom. Be someone 73. I'm gonna get you. Batavia, you are the best. I'm always seeing you in there, just hustling. Oh, okay. Is that it? Did I get him? Ubuntu for students. Yes. Ubuntu. Where will we see the organization? It'll be in email in just a second. Okay. Whoa. I think we forced people to I think we got some people to sign up. What do you think? Already selected. Okay. All right, y'all want to go check your emails? Oh, Rich, I knew you couldn't resist.
Ashley,
Okay, I'm
Ashley
gonna
said
send it. I'll
look
send
for more
it.
above
We're
that
gonna
needs
be
to be
there.
added.
Complete setup. Confirm password. Okay, throw those in there, and I'll get them.
Yeah, I'll copy and paste the
Pending
whole chat. That
invitations.
way we can get them later.
Invitations. Okay. All right, I'm making a repo. It's mine. I'll do the first one. Okay. Summit. What? Test repo from Summit. All right, hey guys, open source. This is the way. Like the Mandalorian. This is the way. Okay. Give us that. Get ignored. Let's do it. Boom. Okay. I'm adding something. I'm doing it. I don't care. Git clone. Give it to me. Bam. Give it. Yeah. Summit. Them. Let's get a hello.c in here. AGRC. Car. AGRV. It doesn't matter what they're called. But it has to be. Yeah. Git, add, everything. Git, commit. First commit on my birthday, y'all. Get push. Get it out there. Done. There it is. Bang. First commit. We got it. Woo! All right, how many people? Where's our folks? I don't know. We got 2 commits, 1 contributor. I got to reload, I bet. All right, so do I need to? Okay, read. People have read access. We need to give write access. How do I do that really easily? Settings. I don't know. Somebody help me. Somebody. Jennifer, I will see if I can't go and okay, added. Okay, so we got that. Okay, people. Okay, so who needs an invite? Let's do this again. Tuttle. All right, are we taking up too much time? Whoa.
Yeah, they're getting ready to hit the stage again.
All right, so Terry, it sounds like the stage is going on. So we're okay. So she needs you.
No, I'm going to copy and paste all of the emails here.
So if the session, I think the session stays open the extra 15 minutes.
Yeah, I'm going to copy the entire chat and put it in the Google Doc for you in case you need to get the emails later.
Okay, let's make. All right, I appreciate it. Okay, so I want to make everybody like full on. Yeah, I'm going to give everybody full rights. Okay, because we should be. This should be. Egalitarian. Okay, open source. Okay, don't go deleting anything, but I want everyone to have the same rights. Okay, you know that's the thing about open source. I think it's about ethics. Okay, it's about giving people rights. It's about giving them power. It's about empowering them. And so I want everybody to be empowered to do what they need to do. If they got something to add, if they can support the community, then there shouldn't be anything holding you back. So what I would suggest people do is if you are I think I'm adding the same ones now. If you're an owner, go ahead and if you have GitHub, go ahead and put your repo up. So let me try to invite some folks. All right, Terry, you sharing that form? You gonna share that thing with me? Is that the deal?
Correct.
That Google Doc, you're gonna send me an email or something? Okay, there's that. All right. Okay, she's already in? Yeah, okay.
There's the link to the chat.
I'm gonna do this slower, whatever. Perfect. All right, I'm gonna run through this just because I think I got most of them, and then I'll go comb through. We'll come through the one with the fine tooth comb. Send me an email or something if something's not working. If you didn't get added. I think I got her. I got him. Postmodern techie. You would, Leo. You would. Yeah, Cram. Yes. You can create 2 accounts. It's online, man. You can create whatever you want, I guess, right? I have one. Cram, I made a McIntosh one. I'll add you to that. I'll make you the owner so you can run that. Oh, snap. Look at this. How do you do that? What is that?
Just copy and paste, bro.
Batavia, you need to be my best friend. Please be my best friend. Richard. Okay, so this is, yeah. All right. Cool.
Doing anything exciting for your birthday?
I don't think I got these 2. No. This was it. This was my happiness. I hopefully you noticed that this was my happy place.
Oh yeah, I noticed. We all noticed.
I'm like so happy right now. Yeah, let's do open source. Let's collaborate, guys. I literally can't imagine anything I would rather have for my birthday. So just so we're aware, in case there was any confusion.
Well, congrats, bro. Great job today. I'm going to head to the stage. But, if you need me, just email me.
Okay. I hope I got everyone. And then I got to make and oof. All right, get it done. Thanks, Terry. Thanks, everyone. One more day, guys. We can do this. Yay! Peace, everybody. I'm still here. Okay, I think I got Rashani. I got that. I think I just did Nyland's. Okay, yeah. Title. You guys are like making fun of me. I think I got it. 20 members. Oh, what? 22. What is going on? What does private mean? I don't know. All right. Yeah, Rob's a beast. Thanks, Angela. Hey, spread the word. Okay, everybody's owners now. You can invite whoever you want. Let's just get everyone invited. That would be super cool. Let's make everybody contributors and see what we can come up with. All right, I'm gonna piece out of this because I want to go to the stage and I'm tired of people looking at me. All right, thanks.